Look at how much you've already overcome and achieved during this incredibly challenging year. Be proud of yourself. You are amazing. Would you love to feel even more unstoppable than you already are? One of the key ingredients to the unstoppable formula that's used by highly successful entrepreneurs to persist and win while so many other people give up and fail is the power of mindfulness and mindfulness practices for entrepreneurs. Would you love to feel more calm and confident throughout the day? Do you notice that as your business grows, as your success grows, as you have more responsibilities, the very things that you wanted and were asking for, you find yourself perhaps even more challenged with anxiety during the day, with worrying, with feeling out of sorts and off-center? Here are 3 key practices, mindfulness practices, that are really part of your unstoppable power to succeed. The first key practice is mindful breathing. There's a very specific way that we can breathe that calms down our nervous system. And that way is to take deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, like we're blowing out through a straw. Try it with me. In through the nose, out through the mouth, while you're blowing out through a straw. Why don't you continue that while I describe to you why that's very important? You probably already notice that you're calming down. When we are feeling anxious, we're having what's called a fight, flight, or freeze response, a sympathetic nervous system response that triggers the anxious feeling in our bodies. And so when you breathe consciously and mindfully in through your nose, out through your mouth, through pursed lips, you actually reset your nervous system from the sympathetic response of fight, flight, or freeze to the parasympathetic response, which is rest, digest, and create. You relax. And when you are in this response, in this more relaxed, centered state, you actually have more access to all of your higher mental faculties, to your ability to find solutions to your problems, to your imagination, to your intuition, to your higher perception, to your ability to reason and understand and make great decisions. And so the first key is very simply mindful breathing. The second key, I'm going to give you a 3-step tool to use when you're feeling anxious. This tool is called recognize, refresh, and repattern. And we're building upon that mindful breathing tool that was number 1. And so recognize means that you recognize that you're conscious of the fact that you're triggered, that you're upset. You got an email from an upset client, or you got a big bill, or something happened with your kids or your spouse, or there's some challenge in the production for your business, for your products. Whatever that may be, you have a difficult conversation with someone. Whatever triggers you is unimportant, but what's important is that you recognize that you're anxious, that you're having a response, a sympathetic nervous system response. So number 1, you recognize. Number 2, you refresh your nervous system in exactly the way that I was just speaking to you in number 1, which is mindful breathing. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth through pursed lips. And you do that 3 times. And so we recognize that we're triggered and anxious. We refresh our nervous system with our mindful breathing. And then we repattern our nervous system by thinking a better feeling thought. We replace the thought. So thinking about what you're grateful for. Thinking about your healthy family members, for those who are healthy, your abundant business, your career, the things that are going well in your life. What are you proud of yourself for? That's another positive thought. And you can also think about your vision for success by the end of the year. I'm so happy and grateful. I've broken through to a whole nother level of success. That's repatterning your nervous system. When you're thinking a better feeling thought, you will feel better. And then you can also take an action to move in that direction. Call a loved one. make a call to a new client, reach out to someone. So that's the recognize, refresh, and repattern tool, our second tool. The third tool, and this might go in the face of a lot of things you've heard before, is to do one thing at a time with your full attention and with mindful breathing. Most people think that they can multitask, that they can work on something on their computer and answer texts and emails, maybe be on a Zoom call, while they're talking to someone else in their office. The truth is that multitasking is a myth. There's no such thing as multitasking. What you're doing is you're switch tasking. You're doing one thing and then another thing, and you're switching back and forth. That creates anxiety. That's the very opposite of mindfulness. The essence of mindfulness is that you are taking deep breaths throughout the day to stay calm and centered like we've been doing, and you're doing one thing at a time. When you're eating, you're mindfully eating. Perhaps you're talking to someone, but you're not also on your phone. When you're talking on the phone with someone, you're not also on your computer. You're genuinely connecting with them or talking on a Zoom or in person. As a parent, that when you're trying to parent and be with your kids and then you're trying to be on your phone too, that they don't like that. They don't like that for a reason, because you're not bringing the full force of who you are into that moment. And so doing one thing at a time from a calm and centered place will keep you in that mindful state where you're connected to your good energy, connected to the peace that's underneath all of the anxiety. And when you live in this way, when you practice mindful breathing, when you use recognize, refresh, and repattern, and then when you practice doing one thing at a time in a mindful way, you will discover this unstoppable power within you to do more, be more, and succeed even more than you've imagined. If you'd love to learn more, click the link below and join my free upcoming masterclass, The Unstoppable Entrepreneur. The Unstoppable Entrepreneur will teach you some of the proven strategies used by the most successful entrepreneurs so that you can create the exponential growth in your business and do it mindfully. Have a great day.